What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It's a big day today. We've closed out the daily, the 3-day time frame, the weekly time frame, the monthly time frame, and the 2-month time frame. It is the first day of September officially, and September is a month in crypto that typically people kind of say with a sour taste in their mouth, right? It's that worst month for Bitcoin. And I don't believe that, right? If you actually look at the data, it's not the worst month for Bitcoin, typically. It's actually a very neutral, boring month, typically. That's what it is. I'm expecting this month to close to a green effect. I don't know if we're going to get a huge rally this month. Maybe from the low to the high we will. I do expect that the beginning of this month will drop, and we'll go over why I expect that in this video. But I think the first half, really, we can get into it now even. I think we're going to drop going into the FOMC meeting. And then this is Mufasa, he's a good boy. Once the FOMC meeting happens, I believe that'll be when we actually start to rally. A lot of people are anticipating that we'll dump on interest rate cuts. If you watched my video earlier today, then you know why I don't expect that to happen, because we've actually been cutting rates at a very tame pace, and typically when we do that, we actually grow. But I do expect the fear of these rate cuts to cause people to sell ahead of time. And by the time we get there, instead of a buy the hype, sell the news situation, we're going to get a kind of sell the hype, buy the news situation, if that makes sense. And I do believe that this month will close green, but I don't know if it'll be a voluptuously bullish month. Maybe it will. I think October is going to be great, but this month could be really good for altcoins. But we're talking about Bitcoin here, okay? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're going to identify in this video, we're going to go over every September that's ever happened in Bitcoin's history. We're going to go over, are they red, are they green, and also, are they neutral? Because a lot of people just look at it red and green. They don't look at the neutral factor. If you look at it red and green, most of the Septembers are red. That's true. But if we look at the neutral factor, which who am I to decide what a neutral month is? But I think we can all agree that if Bitcoin can't close open to close to the upside or downside more than 8%, that's a pretty neutral month. Can we all agree? Right, in a 30-day time frame, 4 weeks, a little bit over 4 weeks, whatever a month is, right? If it can't close more than 8% to the upside or the downside in that time, that's a pretty neutral month. Let's agree with that, right? Okay, so green months, red months, and neutral months. With that context, let's begin. I've got the charts here pulled up to the very first September in Bitcoin's history. If you look at the percentage, it'll be right here. It actually says it's plus 3%. And it's red. I know it's a red month, but it's actually plus 3% because there's a gap up on that month. It was very early days. You see how we have some gaps back here? Price was crazy, right? Just and the markets were a little bit more sporadic. It was 24/7 markets, but maybe less volume, or more volume caused it to pump. Anyways, this was up 3%. The color's red, but it's up 3%. It's still a neutral month. So we're going to tally that as a neutral month, okay? We're going to tally that as a neutral month. We go to the next one here, and this is a red month, 37% down. Notice how that's in a bear market, though, okay? Here we have a green month, one green month there, that's 22%, clearly a green month. Here we have a neutral month, another neutral month. Here we have a red month in September, 19% down, but also in a bear market, something to note. Here we have a neutral month, another neutral month. Here we have a neutral month, that's 6%. Here we also have that one is a red month. It's technically just over 8%. I should have said 9%. Just over 8%. That's another one. And that is actually in a bull market, in all fairness. Here we're down 6%. That is another neutral month here. Here we're down 13%. That is a red month. Here we are down 7%, 7.5%, but that's another neutral month by the way we've defined it. Here, 7%, that's another neutral month. Here, 3%, another neutral month. See, all three of those were red. All all 5 of these in a row were red, but only one of them was actually like a bad month, right? And even then, it wasn't that bad. It was 13%. Here, this one's green, but again, a neutral month. And then here, this one's green, and this is a neutral month. Now, this data is exactly what caused me the last 2 Septembers in a row to call for September to be green, while the rest of the market was calling for them to be red. Now, this year, I feel like a lot of people have caught on to that same kind of dynamic. Maybe they remember from last time, or maybe just people are coming out of the woodworks because people are so loud about September being a bloodbath. When we look at the data that I just collected, we've had 3 red Septembers that were in bear markets, which we're not in a bear market right now. 3 red Septembers that were in bear markets, and 1 red September in the bull market. And that was in the COVID market, okay? Which is like a mini bear market in itself. Other than that, we've had 1 green month, and the rest were neutral. 10 neutral months where Bitcoin did not close up or down more than 8% in a month-long period of September, right? In a 30-day period. 10 out of 15 Septembers, 2/3 are neutral. Now I ask you, is September something to worry about? Is it a bloodbath month? No, it's not. It's really not. And the fact that we're going into this September with, hold on, we're going to look at that in a second too. The fact that we're going into this September, I'm looking at some other charts. Let me pull up the liquidation map here. With a tremendous amount of shorts, an absolutely stupendous amount of shorts on the 30-day time frame. You know, over the past 30 days, we've amounted $16 billion in shorts, you guys, and we're probably going to get even more, okay, as the days go on, because we just keep longing the bottom. This island of longs doesn't go away at all. We've got a tremendous amount of shorts. The sentiment is bearish. We look at the fear and greed index. We're out of fear. It says neutral. 40 is basically right there on that fear threshold there. We keep going back and forth between fear and neutral. People are panicking. I've never seen more people this whole bull cycle calling for the end of the cycle top, all these things, and that September is going to be a bloodbath. I've heard that so many times. It makes me think that September is probably not going to be a bloodbath. At the very least, we're going to get a neutral but green month. This is the third year in a row that I'm calling it. If I'm wrong, I can't be right all the time. I'm definitely not. But this will be the third year in a row that I'm calling for a green September that is either neutral or maybe above average. We might get the second September in Bitcoin's history that's ever happened where we will close above 8% from the opening price, which I think would be pretty stupendous. And we have the right momentum for that, I think. Well, maybe not right now, but we might by the end of the month. If we're looking at this chart here, got this pulled up, we're looking at September. There are a lot of red months, right? There are a lot of red months. But you can see, look at these percentages. The worst one, and that's not true. There was one. Oh, it doesn't go back to, this only goes to 2013. It doesn't go, let's see, can we find something that goes back to 2000, like that incorporates all of it? Since 2013, there's one that was further back that I was looking at. Let's see, it only goes back, everybody only has access to 2013 for some reason. Let's look at, is this it? 2019. Let's look at this one. Is that one it? 2013. Okay, well 2013 it is. That's fine. We'll just do 2013 then. That is okay. Let's click on this one because it's the closest one. I was looking at one that went all the way back to 2009 because the biggest September loss that we had was 33%. Other than that, you look at these percentages. Is that blurry? It kind of looks blurry. I think I had it right the first. It's that pink backdrop, right? Makes it a little bit. There we go. That one looks better in my opinion. September, the highest one that we've had since 2013 is 19% and 13%. Is September the worst month? No. It just has a lot of red. The worst month is maybe December because you got a 34% drop. We don't have any of that since 2013 here, right? Maybe it's August where we have 17, 18, 13, 11. We have a lot more double-digit drops than we do in September here, right? Maybe it's January where we've got a lot of double-digit drops, even multiple that are over 20% as well, right? In fact, there are so many other months besides September that are notoriously worse for sizable drops if we get them, right? September is just known for the color red. But again, if we analyze this data a little bit more closely, it's really just neutral. It's a neutral close. It doesn't really matter. It's not that significant. So going forward in this month, again, I think that the FOMC meeting, I think if we think about it logically, the FOMC meeting, the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates is going to be bullish for the markets, right? In the long term, it is going to be bullish. It's going to have a long-term bullish effect because it's cheaper to borrow, it's cheaper to lend, it's better for the economy, or it stimulates the economy at least. What we can argue the semantics of that, but it's good for spending, and that typically tells investors that it's a risk-on environment, that it's time to put money into things because you can at least better afford to get a loan for a house or a car or for stocks or for business or for whatever, whatever it is that you're trying to do. It's a better time to be doing that kind of stuff and going into debt. And that's whatever money is made and lost. But we're not at that losing point just yet here. All I'm trying to say is I think that in the short term, people are perceiving this to be a negative thing, whenever the reality is rate cuts do not mean that we drop. I did a chart. I made a video earlier going over the charts where we've seen rate cuts drop over months, and we still, hi Mufasa, and we still saw the price go up for months. We were in the middle of a bull cycle for crypto, for stocks, whatever. But the rate cuts have to drop slowly. When the rate cuts drop at a fast pace, it tanks the market every single time, whether it's a flash crash for several months or whether it's a straight recession. If we do it slowly, we've also seen rate hikes, which go up at a fast pace as well. which tank the markets, which cause a recession, which cause a flash crash. Rate cuts, rate hikes at a fast pace, they're bad for the markets. But when they're done slowly, and I know everybody's giving Jerome Powell crap about doing this too slowly. He knows what he's doing. I think he knows what he's doing. And you guys don't understand that he actually you have to be a rather intelligent human to get to that position. You hear him talk, he's very well composed. And maybe he hates Trump. Maybe there's some political agenda. I don't know. That's not what I'm here to tell you. I'm just here to tell you that the slower that interest rates are dropped, slower. The too late Jerome Powell thing is actually good. The markets respond to that well. Okay, that's why whenever there were rumors that Jerome was getting fired, and they seemed like serious rumors that he was going to get fired and Trump was going to replace him, that's why the markets crashed. I forget what day it was, but we saw the markets crash because the markets know that he knows what he's doing, right? It would be a bad thing if we had someone come in and just slash rates at Trump's demand, and whether you like Trump or don't like Trump, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying it's not good. I like Trump personally. I'm not trying to hide that. I'm just saying that's not the purpose, right? I'm not trying to bro down or offend people. I'm just trying to tell you that the literal statistics, right? Get past all your political BS and just listen to the information. It's bad to cut rates at a fast pace, and Jerome Powell's not doing that. And we're going to cut at a 0.25 or a 25 basis points. That's the rate cut that we're going to get, which is a very small amount. Even if it's 50, that's still a small amount, especially since we haven't had a cut since November. So I think we're going to dump going into that meeting. People are going to assume because the prices are moving down, the market's moving down, people are going to assume that this is validation that rate cuts are bad for the markets. We're going to wait and see what happens. I very much believe that what's going to happen after the FOMC meeting, maybe we get a little volatility on that day. What's going to happen afterwards is we're going to finish September on a bullish note. Going into that meeting, dumping. Coming out of that meeting, pumping. September's going to be a green month. And, I want to say the D word. But I try not to curse too much on here. Sometimes I do when I get carried away. But there are children watching sometimes, and I respect that. I respect that. If kids are watching, that's pretty cool, man. I wish I was into this stuff when I was a kid. I would be so much further along. If you are under 18 and you're watching this, kudos to you. Seriously, sir or madam, whoever you are, with your parents, good job. Good job. But it's for you that I don't curse. Or maybe it's for your parents. Either way. Gosh darn it, if we don't get the second green month that Bitcoin has ever had in its September histories. And by green, I mean something that closes over 8%. I wouldn't be surprised. If there was a better September prime for that, it would be this one. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care of yourselves.